Class. Welcome to all in APDC Malikant. I am Memuna Saeed and I will teach you chemistry. Due to the prevailing conditions of COVID-19 pandemic all over the country, you know very well it is not possible to arrange normal classes. So we have arranged online classes to facilitate you people to avoid any academic losses. So you have to be regular, attend the classes keenly with the interest so that you can get a good guidance from us and understand the topics. Now lectures will be uploaded on Google Class. Listen these lectures carefully, write down the important points from it, and then if you have any query or any difficulty in understanding the topic, then you can call us on WhatsApp up to the 2 o'clock in the morning, right? You will also be given some assignments in the fixed timing. You have to solve them and submit them so that I can send them back to you for the better understanding, right? Once again, be regular and enjoy the class so that you can learn it well, right Ji? Now students, this is the chemistry book for grade 11 from National Book Foundation. Basically, it is the physical chemistry content, right? Now here we have 12 chapters. Chapter 1 deals with stoichiometry. Chapter 2 will give you understanding of atomic structure. Chapter 3 in which you will study about the theories of covalent bonding. Number 4 deals with the gaseous state of matter. Number 5 deals with the state of matter that is of liquids, and 6 with the solids. 7.1 deals with the chemical equilibrium, while 8th one deals with acid, bases and salts. 9th one is related to the chemical kinetics or the rate of reactions in chemical equations. Or 10th one deals with the solutions and colloids, while 11th one deals with the heat changes in the chemical equations, and last one is the electrochemistry, which deals with the laws of Faraday or the SHE or oxidation reduction reactions in chemistry, right? Students, this is a paper pattern for the first year federal board. The only theoretical paper you have to give. The duration for the exam is 3 hours. Total marks for the paper are 85. You will find there 4 sections in it. Section A of MCQs questions, 17 marks, and 17 MCQs are given, each MCQ of 1 mark. 25 minutes are allotted to solve this MCQs portion. Now you will be given an OMR sheet with the shuffled questions. There will be 4 of different versions to complete this section. In section B, which is the short question answer section, it will be from chapter 1 to 6. You have to do 7 questions out of 10. Each question is of 3 marks. So the total marks assigned to this section are 21. Same here is the section C. It is also short question answer section. Now this time chapters included are from 7 onward up to 12. Now again you have to solve 7 questions out of 10. Each question of 3 marks. The 21 marks in total. And then section D, a detailed question answer section. Here you have to do 2 questions out of 3. Each question is of 13 marks. So the total marks assigned to this section are 26. Among 3 questions, the first question will be from chapter 1 to 6, while question 2 will be from chapter 7 to 12, while in question 3, one part will be from chapter 1 to 6, while the other part will be from chapter 7 to 12. Each question can have 2 or 3 parts in it, right? In the section B and C, there are asked reasoning questions, there are asked short numericals, right, or justifications for the given statements. Like this, you have to give the answer. The paper pattern is quite simple and you have to do it within 3 hours. It is a model paper prescribed by FPISC examination for the HSSC Part 1. You can see it has 2 parts. A part, or the first one paper, it is having section A on it with the 17 MCQs on it. Before it there are given instructions and a version number is also mentioned up there. These 17 MCQs, they have 4 options with each. So you have to select the correct option and mark it in the OMR sheet, right? Now, while in case of section B, C and D, all are mentioned on this second paper. This one is, as I told you earlier, section B and C are the short question answer sections, in which you have to do 7 questions out of 10 for each question of 3 marks. And as I told you earlier, there will be 2 sections in which their first one will cover 1 to 6 chapter, while the other will cover 7 to 12 chapters, right? This is about section B and section C. About section D, it carry 3 questions in it. They are long question section, right, in which you have to solve 2 questions out of 3. Each question carry marks of 13. The whole paper you have to do within 3 hours, right? Now here the question will be in accordance to, there will be some knowledge based questions, understanding based questions, application based questions and critical thinking based questions, right? Now students, the part 1 chemistry deals with the physical chemistry. Let me to introduce to the first one chapter, that is stoichiometry. The main objectives of this stoichiometry chapter are, you should come to know about that of the balanced chemical equations or the measurements in them in terms of moles, particles that are representative particles or Avogadro's number or according to the molar volumes. Then you will come to know about that the stoichiometric calculations and how to perform them by using these definitions as I told you. Now you will come to know about the uh, percentage composition, limiting reactant, how to find out the limiting reactant from the balanced chemical equation, what is the difference between the limiting and non-limiting reactant, and how to get the maximum product of the substance. Then mole ratios, how to construct mole ratios from the balanced chemical equations in the form of conversion factors in stoichiometric calculations. Then calculations regarding theoretical yield and percent yield, which is the last topic of the chapter, and how to get the percentage yield from the given quantities by means of the balanced chemical equation. This whole is what you have to learn in this chapter. This chapter is important with respect to MCQs as well as the numericals. The numericals can be the part of the objective as well as the part of the subjective portion. They can be in the long one question. All the examples which are mentioned in this chapter, they can be asked in the final paper, or you have to learn it very carefully. All the definitions, they can also be asked, so try to learn it well. The definition of stoichiometry is, basically stoichiometry is taken from the Greek word. Its literal meanings are there. Stoichion means element and metry means measurement, right? Then how to define it? The study of the quantitative relationship between amounts of reactants and products in a balanced chemical equation is termed as stoichiometry. Now you should know what is meant by a balanced chemical equation, or a reactant, or a product. For your ease, look at this equation. Look at this equation. 2H2 plus O2 produces 2H2O. On the left hand side of an arrow, there are present reactants in a balanced chemical equation, while on right hand side of the arrow, there are present product of the reaction. This is a complete balanced chemical equation which is telling you about the synthesis of water by using two elements, that is hydrogen and oxygen. Now, how to say quantitative? What is the quantitative relationship over there in this equation? We will say 4 grams of hydrogen reacts with 32 grams of oxygen and produces 36 grams of water. So this is the quantitative relationship. Quantity wise, you have told that you have taken 4 grams of hydrogen and 32 grams of oxygen, which is producing 36 grams of water. So this is what we say is stoichiometry, that it is telling you how much quantity of hydrogen and oxygen is required to produce 36 grams of water. Done? Yes. What is the importance of stoichiometry in chemistry? Basically, stoichiometry deals with the numerical relationships of elements and compounds and the mathematical proportions of reactants and products involved in a chemical reaction. Just look at the diagram. Here you can see recipe ingredients are given for the chocolate chip cookies, right? You can see here it's given 1 cup flour, 4 eggs, then 1/4 cup sugar, 1 cup butter, and half cup chocolate, right? How many cookies will comes out of this quantity? Here it is given they are 12, right? Now similarly, when we have to deal with the chemicals in lab, if I want to make a fixed quantity of the substance, I should know that how much amount of reactants will be used to produce a fixed amount of the product, right? So we say using this stoichiometry approach, a chemist can deduce the possible amounts of required ingredients or the reactants and or yielding products. You can also understand it by means of like this. Here, the second example, take a look of this one. In the above one, the ingredients were enough to make 12 cookies, while in the lower one portion, you will find I have to make only one cookie. So what I have done, with all these ingredients. The amounts have been reduced. You can see them well, right? So in this manner, we say the quantities matter a lot. To give a good recipe, you should know the fixed quantities or the particular amount of the ingredients so that you can get a good result of the recipe, right? So this is why stoichiometry is important. Whenever a scientist will work with the chemicals in the lab, he needs to know about the quantities of the reactants and the product which will be formed out of it, and that is very much important, right Ji? Go to the calculations, you must be familiar with the simple terminologies which will be used again and again in the calculations. You are familiar with these terms, but just a revision is given. So you should know what is meant by atomic mass, molecular mass, right? So atomic mass, what is atomic mass? Atomic mass can be defined as the mass of an atom of an element compared to the mass of one atom of carbon 12, that is the stable isotope of carbon, right? So what the unit is used for them? That is AMU. You can also express them in grams, is it? Right? So for example, if we say atomic mass of hydrogen is, that is 1.008 AMU. If I say you what is the atomic mass of chlorine, so it is 35.5 AMU. If you don't know, you have to learn some of the common elements along with their atomic masses. Right? Now, what about the molecular mass? As the name is presenting itself, atom for a single entity, while molecular mass is for a molecule, a molecular entity. Right, Ji? Now here we have to say, if we say water, this one, water, what is the molecular mass of water? What I have to do? Here I find two elements in it. So I have to add the individual masses of all the atoms, and then the sum of this one will comes out as the molecular mass of this compound, right? So we say the sum of the atomic masses of the atoms of all the elements present in a molecule, that is termed as molecular mass. Here in this water molecule, atomic mass of hydrogen is 1, atomic mass of oxygen is 16, as there are 2 atoms of hydrogen. So multiply it with 2 plus 16, it will comes out as 18 AMU. Similarly, for NH3, it will be, what is the molar mass of NH3? Molecular mass. Nitrogen 14 plus hydrogen 1 multiplied by 3, as there are 3 atoms of hydrogen. So the total comes out as 17 AMU. Once again, it is AMU, which stands for atomic mass unit, right Ji? Now the next term is formula mass. What is meant by the formula mass? The sum of the atomic masses of the atoms of all the elements present in a formula unit, that is called formula mass. Formula mass is for a formula unit, and it is for the ionic substances, just like that of sodium chloride. Now what is the difference between molecular mass and formula mass? Formula mass is for the ionic compounds, and molecular mass is for the covalent compounds which exist in the form of molecules, right? Here the formula mass of sodium chloride is, sodium in it carry 23, while chlorine has a mass of 35.5. The sum of these two is 58.5 AMU. I think you are familiar with all very well. So once again recall them. and try to understand them. They will be repeated again and again. Learn them well, right?